Peace, peace. Shalom. Alright, it's your brother Shemayala. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor, thanksgiving to Yahweh by Shema Mashak Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Alright, so real quick, what I'm going to be getting into is talking about the fear of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Fear of the Lord. You know, that's the beginning, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the beginning of any kind of knowledge, wisdom, or understanding that you can receive from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That's the beginning. That's where it starts. Alright? So right now I'm going to start in Isaiah chapter 11. Alright, start at verse 1. It says, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots." Verse 2, "And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him." And what you want to take note of is how many spirits that it was prophesied for the Messiah to have when he would be on earth. You know what I'm saying? So we got to pay attention to this real quick. It says, "And the Spirit of the Lord." See, that's one right there. "The Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him." Right? And then we got number 2, Spirit of wisdom. Alright? The Spirit of wisdom. Then we got the Spirit of understanding. Hey, come on, man. We got the Spirit of understanding right here. Alright. So that's 3 spirits so far. Then we got the Spirit of counsel. You know what I mean? That's 4. Then the 5th one is might. Alright? Might, that's going into spiritual power. You know, spirit of might. That's where he was able to walk on water, heal the sick, raise the dead, give sight to the blind. You know what I'm saying? All of that. Even when he went on the cross. You know? And was able to lay down his life. All that's might, man. You know? Spiritual power. And then number 6, the Spirit of knowledge. Alright? That's the 6th spirit right there, according to this precept. And then the 7th, right, which is the most important, the fear of the Lord. Right? So that was mentioned last, but you know, as he said, first shall be last, last shall be first. You know what I'm talking about? So the fear of the Lord is the most important one, really. Excuse me. So, because the fear of the Lord, if you can imagine like a candlestick, like a menorah, right? The first candle that's supposed to be lit is the fear of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's verse 3, and shall make him of quick understanding in what? The fear of the Lord, man. See, fear of the Lord mentioned twice within these 3 verses. Because that's the most important one, man. It says, "And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears." So, that's where it starts, man. It starts with the fear of the Lord. The fear of Adonai, you know what I'm saying? That's where it begins. So let me show you that even more. Let's go to Proverbs. Yeah, Proverbs Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. It said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So, how you gonna have wisdom if you don't fear the Lord first? That's where it starts. That's the beginning of having wisdom. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, you don't know nothing or have wisdom at all until you fear the Most High. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could go to colleges, you know what I'm saying? You could have, all these degrees, go to these universities, go to any institution of learning, you know what I'm saying? Even if you go to like a theologian school and learn the Bible, you know what I'm saying? You see your fear towards the Most High taught by the precepts of men. So let's get that real quick. Cause like you could go to these schools, right? What you gonna learn if you exclude God out of knowledge in all of your institutions of learning, universities and colleges, then how is it that you actually gonna know anything? How you gonna know anything, man? You see what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. Yeah, Isaiah 19:29. All right, let's go back a little. Let's go to Isaiah 29, start at verse 9. It says, stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, the seers hath he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. Right, man. Let's talk about these scriptures, man. Because, like, this is the problem, man. You don't fear the Most High. So whenever you try to understand the Bible, you read them. See, you ever learning and never able to come into the knowledge of the truth because you actually don't fear the Lord. You got a form of godliness, but you deny the power. How you deny the power? Because you don't fear. Like I just read, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You ain't gonna get no wisdom. The book ain't gonna become unsealed unto you until you fear the Most High. How you do that? You start by keeping His laws and commandments. So what you think, you gonna try to read the Bible, get understanding and wisdom, and don't fear the Lord? Nah, man, get out of here. You ain't even gonna desire to read the scriptures, or maybe you will. See, this is what these Christians be on, man. You listen, man. Y'all need to listen to the Israelites, and y'all need to keep them laws and commandments. Cause look. Until you do that, it says the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. It's gonna be sealed unto you. It will be sealed away from you, the wisdom and understanding of the scriptures, until you fear the Lord. It says, which men deliver to one that has learned. What? Them people who go to them theologian schools, them colleges and universities and academies, trying to talking about they reading and studying and reading the Bible, thinking they know something. But what they do, they exclude God out of their knowledge. I'm gonna get into that later, man. You know what I'm saying? Most High willing. Check this device. Alright? Exclude the Most High out of their learning. And that could be pertaining to any subject. I don't care if it's talking about biology, astronomy, okay, earth science, history. And then, when it comes to history, they exclude the Most High because they don't even consider the fact that our people had some place in history as far as ruling certain kingdoms and empires. Man, they don't bring nothing out about the Dark Ages. You know what I'm saying? We got to go and look for that on our own. They don't teach that in none of these schools. The only thing when I was growing up, they teach us that we came over here on ships and we were slaves. That's it. See, when they don't teach what they teach, they'll teach you something about your history, but it's always something that'll make you seem inferior. You know what I'm saying? Which men delivered to one that has learned, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." And he said, "I cannot, for it is right." Man, they winging it, man. They pretending like they know what the scriptures is talking about, but they really don't. So they make up something. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." And he saith, "I am not learned." So that's self-explanatory. That's somebody who don't know nothing at all. Wherefore the Lord said, "For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me." See? And their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Yeah, see? Your fear towards the Most High is taught by the precept of men. So this is the reason why you actually are ever learning and never able to come into the knowledge of the truth. This is why the book is sealed up unto you. Because when they teach you the fear towards the Most High is taught by the precept of men, when they teach you these precepts, they teach you these precepts without the fear of the Most High. The Most High. Right? Like, for example, when you are Christian, they'll tell you, "Oh, the law is done away with. Oh, you can eat pork. You can eat shrimp, crab, lobster." This is what they tell you, man. You see, when they teach you the Bible, they don't teach you to fear the Lord, man. Because if they listen, if they taught you to fear the Lord, they'll tell you got to keep them laws and commandments. But Christianity don't do that. Right? See, that's a big error right there, man. That's a huge error. How you gonna teach the Bible and not teach the fear of the Lord and teaching people to keep the laws and commandments? That's wicked, man. So you exclude the fear of the Lord, and guess what? You reading and teaching people the Bible, and they not learning nothing. But it look like they learning something, because they sitting up in there in them churches, in them pews, preach up there in the pulpit, looking all eloquent and sophisticated with the suit on. People up there in their best Sunday dress. Man, that's what I'm saying, man. Having a form of godliness, but you deny the power. Ain't nothing in that church where you gonna learn and get wisdom. You know what I'm saying? They just look like they got it together. Got these nice jobs, nice cars and houses, but they dumb as hell. That's what I'm saying. You don't know nothing until you fear the Most High. You just a dummy, man. Listen, man. I don't care what you know. You an idiot until you fear the Most High. You keep His laws and commandments. You know what I mean? Read this again. Wherefore the Lord said, "For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth." Right, and that's what y'all be doing in church. Up in church, hollering and screaming, talking about hallelujah. Like what Killer Priest said, man. In that song, Basic Instruction Before Leaving Earth. He was like, calling on His name and screaming hallelujah when He hallelujah. That's how the devil fooled you. That's exactly what people be doing in church. Talking about, what I mean? Man, they wallowing around on the church floor. I mean, what is this, man? Well, you getting all super spiritual, but you don't know nothing. Wherefore the Lord said, "For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me," talking about praises. And y'all hardly do that. Cause who y'all praising, man? This is what I'm talking about. You don't have no knowledge of the Most High, cause they telling you things that ain't true. Like, well, how is his name Jesus? Talking about you praising Jesus. Man, that's why, man, the church is so messed up, man. You know what I'm talking about? Your fear towards the Most High taught by the precepts of men. You know what I mean? Where was I? Okay. Proverbs 1 and 7. Let me go to Proverbs, man. Proverbs. Chapter 1. Right. See, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. See? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. What the hell you gonna know if you don't fear the Most High first? But fools despise wisdom and instruction. Right. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. These people despise the wisdom of the Most High by rejecting his laws, man. They say, no, we don't got to do that. No, we don't got to keep no laws or commandments. We under grace. We just, we can get all the blessings, all the miracles. And these people up in these churches, they be looking like they blessed. God done, gave them this and that. What if they blessing is actually a curse? Because who the Lord loves, he chastises, right? But see, if the Most High gave them up, he's just going to let them have as much as they want and live it up in his life. So you see these people who got it together, or look like they got it together, they the ones that don't know. They don't have the fear of the Lord, man. This is why, they talk about being poor and righteous. You know what I'm saying? Being poor and righteous. Let me get something real quick. Yeah, it's Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. Okay, chapter 13. Yeah, let me start at chapter 13, verse 21. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, man. But a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because people have the perception that when you rich, God dealing with you. So let me help them. Let me hold up this rich man. Because God, the Most High, is with this brother, man. God, see, godliness is not gain, man. Godliness is not gain. You cannot perceive someone to have the fear and wisdom of the Most High if they got riches and wealth. You can't judge. You a judge of evil thoughts, man. Let me get that real quick. Right, you see. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 5. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth. Right. Because you know why? They don't fear the Lord. They'll debate you with great swelling words of man's wisdom, acting and sounding like they know something. But they just perverse. The perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself. So when they uphold a rich man, they think he godly because he got gain. Right? That's why them people up in them churches be looking good, like they got it together, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? You a judge of evil thoughts if you think that. Let me get that in James, man. James. You know what I'm talking about? James. I'm just all over the place. I wasn't expecting this, man. You know what I mean? All praises. Let me find it. I'm gonna just start at verse 10. James 1 verse 10. But the rich, in that he is made low, because as the flower of the grass he shall pass away. All right. Let me just find it. Let me see. Search. James chapter 4. James 4 verse 11. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil is evil of his brother, and judges his brother speaketh evil of the law, and judges the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. That ain't even what I wanted. Hold on, man. Shit. Hold on real quick. Yeah, so yeah, I found this James chapter 2. Okay. This is going back to what I was talking about, thinking that godliness is gain. You know what I'm saying? Because you would perceive someone who got, you know, money and wealth and whatever and all of that as somebody who got the fear of the Lord and wisdom. But that's far from the truth, man. This is James chapter 2, verse 1. My brethren, have not the faith of our Adonai Hamashiach Yahushua, the Lord of glory, with respect of persons. For if there come unto your assemblies, a man with a gold ring, and goodly apparel, and there come in also a poor man in vile raiment, and ye have respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place. Right. You lift up his head, the rich man, and into your church. You tell him to come into the front and sit in the front of the church. Sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool. Verse 4. Are ye not then partial in yourselves, and are become judge of evil thoughts? Right. Because you considering that the rich man is godly, because he got on the ring and all of the good apparel. You think that because he got all of that good stuff, that the Most High dealing with him. You know what I'm talking about? Most High, he don't deal with the rich like that, man. Okay? Verse 5, hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him? Right, he chose the poor in this world. Rich in faith, man. Poor and righteous. And heirs of the kingdom which he hath promised to them that love him. But what? But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? You know what I'm talking about? So, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. It's back to Sirach. 13 verse 21. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken. And yet men justify him. Right, man. He speaketh things not to be spoken. This is like, listen, man, this dude he could teach false doctrines. He'll tell you that the law is done away with and all of this. But because he rich and he look like he got it together, he up in the pulpit with the suit on. He pull up to the church in a Bentley. You know what I'm talking about? He'll say something. He could say anything he want and people will believe it, man. He speaks things not to be spoken. Oh yeah, you see, you got these camp leaders, man. Got a big giant following. If he say something that's against the scriptures, it don't matter. He will be believed. And what? And yet men justify him. Justify him by what? By being like, okay, you coming in agreement with him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. Yeah, you'll see, man, when you down, they just kick you, they keep you down. When you on the bottom, they'll kick you down even harder. They'll kick you harder than before you even was on the damn ground. Once you get to the ground, they'll kick you even harder to keep you there. You know what I'm saying? It said he spake wisely, but he spake wisely. He said the truth. But what? Because he don't look like he got that on that goodly apparel and that gold ring, they gonna kick him down even more. And could have no place. Right, man. He was told to go into the back of the church, man. Like Rosa Parks was told to go to the back of the bus. You know what I'm talking about? Get your behind in the back. Care how much truth you speak. Listen, man, I don't care how sound the doctrine is, man. You not coming up to the front. You stand right there in the back. Because you're not a man of renown. You're not famous. You know. Ain't nobody considering what you saying. All right. You know what I'm talking? Man, it's everything backwards. It's backwards out here, man. So, let me see. Let me go back. Back to 1 Timothy, because this is another thing with people professing themselves to be wise. You know what I'm saying? Because first they look like they got it together, and what? They'll sound like they got it together. First Timothy chapter 6 verse 1. Let as many servants are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of the Most High and his doctrine be not blasphemed. And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them, because they are brethren, but rather do them service, because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. If any man teach otherwise, and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Hamashiach, Yahushua, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, right? He is proud, knowing nothing, but dotting about questions and strifes of words, right? They like to beat around the bush in a debate. try to avoid the question. Try to act like they don't understand the word you said. You know what I'm saying? Trying to wrest judgment. Because soon as the word be sown in the heart, the damn devil try to take it out. That's why Paul, when he came, he didn't come with words of man's wisdom. He came with the power, the power of the Holy Spirit, man. The display of the Spirit, not in words, man. You know what I'm talking about? Although the Spirit can have you to speak eloquently, It says, he is proud, knowing nothing but doubting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, that's to the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. So they gonna sound like they got it together, right? They gonna try to dispute with the wisdom of this world, right? Alright, back to Isaiah chapter 29. Verse 14, it says, therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish. The wisdom of their wise men shall perish. Okay. Alright, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Alright, wisdom of their wise men shall perish. Right, see this wisdom right here is talking about the wisdom of the world. Okay? Why is that the wisdom of the world, or the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, man? Why is that? Because they don't fear the Lord, man. See, it always goes back to the fear of the Lord. Okay? Go to Romans, man. Always goes back to the fear of the Lord. Let me find it real quick, man. Romans chapter 1. 28. See? It says what? And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, right? God gave them over to a reprobate mind, right? A mind void of judgment, to do those things which are not convenient, right? This is why, they didn't want to retain God in their knowledge, because they didn't fear the Most High. So they decided, okay, we're going to exclude the Most High from all knowledge, from all our seminary schools, colleges, universities, high schools, all over the place. This is why this is why they excluded the Most High out of every, avenue or aspect of society, man. Okay? This is why they did it, man. Because they wanted to get rid of God. They want to take the Bible out of the schools, right? No longer have the 10 Commandments. You know what I mean? You take God out of everything in society, okay? What's going to end up happening? You're going to end up becoming reprobate, man. The whole society end up becoming reprobate. Alright, so this is how the wisdom of this world, the wisdom of their wise men will perish. Because when they didn't want to retain God in their knowledge, the Most High gave them up to a reprobate mind, man. Void of judgment. And what do they end up doing? Doing those things which are not convenient. This is why now in our society, okay, we got same-sex marriages, okay, changing of your gender, all this adultery, you know what I mean? All these murderers, these murders that's taking place, corrupt, government, all of this, man. Because they didn't want to retain the Most High in their knowledge. The Most High gave up this country to a reprobate mind, man. And you did them things, you are right now in the process of doing them things that are not convenient. Being filled what? With all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, right? Murder, debate. See, debate, man. All these debates being hosted about what the truth is, man. It ain't that serious, man. Why is it hard? This is just wicked men, man, being given over to a reprobate mind. Okay, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. See, without understanding. Covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable or implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So this is the things you end up doing when you don't want to retain the Most High, the knowledge of God, okay, in your society. Or retain God in your knowledge, man. You exclude God from all of these subjects, man. Okay? This is why in the church, they worship a so-called white Jesus. What's that? How was that? Okay? How was that retaining God in your knowledge when the Bible tells you clearly he a dark-skinned man with hair like wool? Feet like brass burnt in a furnace, but you going to go ahead and exclude the knowledge of God in your churches and worship a white boy. This is why God, the Most High, gave you up to a reprobate mind, man. That's what anybody talking about they're a Christian, going to church, knowing they ain't going well, all that's a lie, or you should know. Because if you got the fear of the Lord, you're going to have the wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all of that. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. Go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 1. See verse 20. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. Right. So you see, this wisdom that they had that caused them to be incapable of knowing God is the wisdom of this world. Okay, because they excluded God out of everything, man. It said it pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. Okay. So this is how the Most High confound the wise. You know what I'm saying? He confounds them by using the wisdom and the fear of the Lord, man. For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. All right. right, so let's go back to Romans. Romans chapter 1. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. What's reprobate, man? Void of wisdom, void of judgment. Okay? A reprobate mind. Let's see. All right, reprobate.
Adokimos.
Adokimos. Right? Castaway. Rejected. Right? Dokimo. From the word dokimos. Dokimos. Unapproved. Rejected. Worthless. You know what I mean? Man, see? He rejected your mind, man. He made you a bird brain. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. He emptied out your brain, man, to not be able to contain any sort of knowledge or wisdom. Because you ain't fear the Lord, man. See, you supposed to fear the Lord. That's the foundation. You can't build on nothing. You cannot build you cannot build a structure of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding without the fear of the Lord being the foundation. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. See, you worshiping this white Jesus, okay, thinking that's the Most High and the Messiah, but you've been given over, man. And then a lot of you people still calling him Jesus, and the knowledge of the Most High is out there, and they are without excuse, right? Hold on, let me get that. They are without excuse, man. Romans 1 and 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. Right, man. This is why I rebuked that flat earth, man. Because what? The invisible things, which is this earth that we living on, because you don't know what the size and depth and scope and magnitude of what the earth actually is. You just living on it. You ain't never blasted no rocket off into outer space past the you know what it's saying, Job, a molten looking glass. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gone past that firmament. It's invisible to you. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. Right, like a drop of dew, man. Who can't comprehend that the earth is the shape of a sphere by what is evident upon earth, which is a drop of dew? It's the most basic thing anyone could comprehend in their life. But these dumb people who don't like to retain God in their knowledge want to continue to teach lies and say that the earth is flat. You just wicked as hell. This is why Most High give you up to a reprobate mind. He rejected you, man. Wicked as hell. Clearly, the scriptures is clear, man. Earth is like a damn drop of dew. And you go, this man, I've been made videos on it already, man. You just go back and watch that. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple, man. It's clearly understood by the things that are made. You know what I'm saying? With the invisible things of him who created them. but they want to reject the knowledge of the Most High and don't retain God in their knowledge because they don't fear the Most High. You know what I mean? So they fools despise wisdom and instruction. They see this when I bring out that the earth is a sphere. They despise it. That's why I like bringing it out. They get mad. I know they get mad. That's good. You know what I'm talking about? Let them get mad. You know? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction, man. Proverbs 1 and 7. Despise it. They hate it, man. That's why they Bible stay dusty, man. Got a Bible, but keep it on the shelf. No, I don't want to read that today. No, I don't feel you know what I mean? What was I? Romans? Yeah, Romans, man. Go back to Romans 1:20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. Understood by the things that are made. You could just look around in this earth and the world and see that there is a creator. How you gonna be like, oh no, there ain't no God? How you gonna say you an atheist? Even the Luciferians believe that there's a God. Like Albert Pike. He said he don't. They will unleash the nihilists, man. This is set up for you Christians to deny that there's a creator. And you know what they did? They allowed that rapture doctrine to be taught. You know what I'm saying? In your churches. Because you don't fear God. So you'll take anything that they teaching you in the churches, hook, line, and sinker. Okay? And then see when that which they taught you doesn't come to pass, you're going to surrender and give, like Albert Pike said, you're going to give all your adoration and turn it over to worship Satan. That's what you're going to do, man. I could see that. Because they're going to be mad. They're going to be like, oh, God ain't... See, they're going to be mad at God. They're going to be mad at God. See... Yeah, see. That's madness, man. They're going to be mad at the Most High when this thing happens. They're going to be like, oh, we didn't get raptured. Why? Because you ain't retain God in your knowledge. Right? The things that are made, even his eternal power and God had, so that they are without excuse. You see, that's the point I wanted right there. They are without excuse. See, the Most High was like, you ain't got no excuse. The knowledge is out there. The book is unsealed. The knowledge, the wisdom, understanding of these scriptures is out now, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no excuse now these days, man. Still talking about you going to church. That's how you know they wicked, man. Still going out there to church, worshiping this idol they call Jesus. And you ain't getting, listen, man, you ain't getting no wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. You ain't getting the mysteries. Okay? You're not getting the mysteries or the secrets of the Most High. Alright? Get that real quick, man. Verse 14. See, the secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. Right, the secret of the Lord is with them that fear him. That's why the scriptures say, Amos, what? Surely the Lord God will do nothing until he reveal his secret unto his servants the prophets. Why? Why he gonna reveal his secret to the servants the prophets? Because they fear him, man. Amos 3 and 7, surely the Lord God, Most High Adonai, will do nothing but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. Man, come on, cause why? Cause they fear him. It's that simple, man. Then we just read in Psalm 25:14. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. Come on, man. See, you want to know the Lord's secrets, the mysteries of the scriptures. Man, you gotta fear, man. All right. Go back to Romans, man. Romans 1:20. Even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. All right. A reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Reprobate. You void of wisdom. Man, you reject it, man. So what you gonna learn if you reject? What you gonna learn, man? Okay. What you gonna learn if the Most High rejected you and made your mind void of judgment? Any knowledge you get that you go to learn is gonna be without being able to discern good and evil. Okay, let me get that, man. Hebrews. Right? You can't discern good and evil because the Most High rejected you, man. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For the time you ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God. First principles, man. What's scripture say? And all that, get wisdom, right? Wisdom is the principal thing. So in all thy getting, get understanding, right? That's the first principles of the oracles of God, man. And you ain't getting no wisdom until you fear the Lord, man. Because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And what happened? Because you rejected the knowledge of God, you didn't like to retain God in your knowledge. Now what? You should have been a teacher, man. You should have been a teacher. You know what I'm saying? But now you need one to teach you again the first principles of the oracles of God. The first things that it take for you to have, to know the oracles of God. Talking about these laws, man. Laws and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Oracles. Let's get that. Look that up. Okay. Oracles. And utterance. So you ain't giving me much, man.
Logion.
Oracles of God. Let me see, man. I can pull it up. Yeah, man. Oracles of God. A priest or priestess acting as a medium through whom advice or prophecy was sought from the gods in classical antiquity. That's what our priests did. What they gave the advice based on the laws and commandments of the Most High, right? So a response or message given by an oracle, right? Them laws and commandments. What are the oracles in the Bible? A divine message from God, a medium receiving, like a prophet or holy, or inspired scriptures. See, or the inspired scriptures themselves. That's what I'm saying, man. That's the oracles of God, man. The scriptures themselves. All praises, man. See, the AI is smarter than you people. Man, damn shame, man. See, the AI got to teach you the first principles, which be the first principles of the oracles of God. They got to let you know what the oracles of God is, man. See, then this that's another problem. You see, when you get technology, creates a convenience that makes men more lackadaisical. You know what I'm talking about? And then when you get lax, you get lazy. And when you get lazy, you're not going to perform like you used to. You know what I'm talking about? For when the time you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God. So you were supposed to get, you would have, listen, you supposed to have been a teacher, but now you need one to teach you the first principles of the oracles of God. What are the first principles of these scriptures, man? Of learning the scriptures. Right? What are the first principles to learn the inspired scriptures themselves? The first principle is to get wisdom. Right? The first principles of the oracle of God is to get wisdom. All right? It says wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. The principal thing is the first thing you supposed to, is the first thing in place. It's the wisdom is the principal thing. Is means it's the first in rank. How you get wisdom first? Well, guess what? In order to get wisdom first, right? You got to do what? Let's go to chapter 9. I brought this out earlier. Chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So that's how you get wisdom, which is the principal thing. Which is first and foremost, man. You got to fear the Lord first, man. That's why I say, man, the fear of the Lord is the most important, man. Actually, in my opinion, that's first before wisdom. You know what I'm talking about? You got to get that first. You got to have the fear of the Lord first, man. Before you get wisdom. Before you get knowledge. Before you get understanding. You know what I'm talking about? This is why the Most High not going to bless anybody. I mean, he blessed the wicked. But I'm saying, you know how to say the blessing of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow with it. So, you know, see these rich people out here, they got money. But they pierce themselves through with many sorrows, man. They got so much sorrow with the wealth they got, man. Like you know, the rapper Biggie was like, more money, more problems. Yo, that's real. You know why he said that? Because his money, his blessing came from of this world. And it did not come from the Most High, man. It didn't come from the Most High. No, Hebrews 5, man. Back to Hebrews 5. Verse 12. But when the time you ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. Okay? First principles of the oracles of God. You got to learn to fear the Lord again, man. How you going to get wisdom without the fear of the Lord? For everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So right, Like I said, read earlier in Romans, you avoided judgment. You can't discern between good and evil. You know what I'm saying? You can't discern. This is why the wisdom of this world, you know what I'm saying? This is why the Most High chose the foolish things of this world to confound the wise, and the weak things of this world to confound the things which are mighty. Man. You know what I'm saying? First Corinthians 1:27. But God had chosen the foolish things of the world, to confound the wise. What? The wise of this world, the scribes, the seers, all them false scribes and false seers and false prophets. Okay? All of them false theologians. You know what I mean? But God had chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God had chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. You see? So the foolishness of preaching, that's what the Most High chose. You know? He chose the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. So Most High, he used preaching to confound the wise. Okay? First Corinthians 1:20. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? Right, how do he do that? Verse 21. For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. You know what I'm saying? That's how. That's how he confound the wise of this world. By using the foolishness of preaching. Alright? Going out and prophesying. You know what I mean? It's got shut down, man. All your wisdom of this world has been confounded. Your wisdom of this world is being confounded by the foolishness of preaching. You know what I mean? Ain't that something? First Corinthians 1:27. But God had chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God had chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. All right. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 1, verse 6. To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed? To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed, or who hath known her wise counsels? What is the root of wisdom? What is the root of wisdom? Right here in verse 20. The root of wisdom is to fear the Lord. See? That's the beginning of wisdom, man. The root of wisdom is to fear the Lord, and the branches thereof are long life. You see? See, it all starts with the fear of the Lord, man. That's all. It all starts with the fear of the Lord. All right. back to 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians 3. Alright. Verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Alright. How does the Most High take the wise in their own craftiness? Because, like I said earlier, because they didn't like to retain God in their knowledge, God made all that their knowledge and wisdom and understanding that he allowed them to have without him, without the knowledge of God to be retained in their knowledge. He used that very thing to cause them to fall. That's how he was able to take them in their craftiness, because they thought that without God they could be successful or be wise. Right? They thought that they could be wise, man. Okay? They thought that they could know something. You know, they thought they could exclude God out of the world, or like out of society. But how you gonna take God out, man? How you gonna get rid of the Most High? How you gonna do that? How in the world are you gonna do that, man? This is Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men, man. See, the basis of men. But see, even in their folly and them thinking that they can exclude God out of their knowledge and their society, that was even, ordained by the Most High. He allowed them to be like that and still set them up. So this is why in they vain thinking that whenever they rise to the top and become the height of all empires, they think that, they think they something, man. They think they special. And then, they had no idea that the Most High gave them up to a reprobate mind. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs 21 verse 30. See, there is no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against Adonai, the Most High. See, there ain't no wisdom, nor understanding, nor counsel against the Most High, man. So, this is the thing, man. When they thought that they could exclude God and live without God and become great without him, without his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, without having to fear the Lord, they thought that was an attempt to overthrow God himself and be like, okay, we don't need God. Okay, we could do these things on our own. That's what politics is, man. Politics ain't nothing but man excluding God out of the governing affairs of men. And they think they can govern themselves without the fear of the Lord and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. That's all in politics is, man. That's why voting and all that madness will never work. Because you ain't got God involved. And the Most High ain't involved, man. Because you exclude God out of society, and you think your kingdom going to be great. You think you're going to make America great again. Okay? So in people's attempt to have wisdom, knowledge, understanding without the Most High, this is how he confound them. You know what I'm saying? This is how he done it. First Corinthians 3:19, for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, for it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Right. So they thought it was crafty to have wisdom and counsel against the Almighty. But what they do? What did he do? He took them in their own craftiness, man. You know what I'm saying? With the foolishness of preaching, man. You know what I mean? All right, back to Hebrews. Hebrews 5, verse 14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So, like, hold it. Like, all right. To discern both good and evil. Right? So, you need to be able to have the fear of the Lord to be able to discern good and evil, man. All right? Fear of the Lord, beginning of wisdom, right? Let's look at Solomon, man. Go to First Kings, man. Because we all know Solomon, what? In a dream, he asked for wisdom. And how would he have got that wisdom if he didn't fear the Lord, right? He had to fear the Lord. First Kings chapter 3. Start at verse 5, man. It says, in Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, ask what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between what? Good and bad. See? So for him to actually ask for that, he feared the Lord, man. Anybody who asks for wisdom fear the Lord. That I may discern between good and bad, man. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And the speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast now not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor has asked the life of thine enemies, but has asked for thyself understanding and to discern judgment. Okay? Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart. Okay? so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. Okay? So he asks for understanding heart, for wisdom, to be able to discern between good and evil, between good and bad, right? This be the first principles of the oracles of God, man. To fear the Lord, so you can obtain wisdom, to be able to discern between good and evil. But what happened? What happened to the world? They ain't fear the Lord, so that they can have wisdom, to be able to discern between good and evil. You know what I'm saying? That's why the world a mess, man. That's why I read earlier, when they do that, right? Let me get that real quick again. First Timothy 3. No, ain't it. Hold on real quick, man. Alright, it's in Romans 1 and 28 again. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient. So we see how, like, Solomon asked for wisdom, right? So he could discern between good and bad. But when you give it over to a reprobate mind, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you avoid the judgment. You reject it. So if the Most High rejects you, you ain't gonna fear the Lord to have wisdom. Alright? So that you be able to discern good and evil. This is why these people in this society, they don't set no difference between clean and unclean, between male and female. They just say they got all these new pronouns now, talking about, oh, you're a multi-gender person, or, you know what I'm saying, all this madness. This is why people could change their sex. You go from a male to a female, you go from a female to a male. They reprobate, man. Because they ain't fear the Lord. Because they ain't fear the Lord. The Lord gave them over to a reprobate mind, man. Right? And it says to do those things which are not convenient, right, man? Like I read earlier, these are the things that are not convenient. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the thing too. When you fear the Lord and have wisdom, you gonna actually do things that are convenient. It's easy to just be acceptable of your sex. Being a male, it's easy when you fear the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? It's convenient, but when you don't do that, you do them things that are not convenient. You go all out of your way to make the kind of money that you need to get the surgery to become another sex. What kind of mess is that, man? Or you become a homosexual or a lesbian, right? That's just totally inconvenient, man. Alright? Do those things which are not convenient. Being filled with all unrighteousness. You completely turn over to wickedness, man. Wicked. Fornication. See, when you given over to your reprobate mind, you become unlawful. You break God's laws and commandments like it ain't no tomorrow. You wicked as hell, man. Wicked as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness. You know what I'm saying? Your desires is out of control. Maliciousness. See, you just spiteful, man. Want to get your lick back all the time, man. You know what I'm talking about? Full of envy. Man, you just want everybody's portion. You got a copycat spirit. You want to do what everybody else doing. You see somebody got it, you want it. You see somebody eating, you want to eat. People like that, man. All of a sudden, they see you eating. Now they hungry all of a sudden. You're just so full of damn envy, man. See, your envy give you over to gluttony. Your envy give you over to murder, because now what? You want somebody husband or wife. So you're going to kill a spouse so you can hook up with them. It's wicked, man. This stuff goes on in this society because they've been given over to a reprobate mind because they don't retain God in their knowledge, man. Debate. It's a big one. Debate, man. Always debating, man. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds. See? Men of corrupt minds. That's that reprobate mind. You know what I'm saying? That's that reprobate mind, man. Right, it's 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 3. If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Adonai Hamashiach Yahushua, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud. He don't know nothing. Proud, knowing nothing. Right, you know why he don't know nothing? Because he don't fear the Lord. That's like I said earlier, man. You don't know nothing till you fear the Lord, man. But what? But dotting about questions and strifes of word. That's that going back into that debate. Just want to avoid questions and words. You want to strife over a word. You want to get all, what's they call it? You want to play semantics. You know what I'm saying? You want to get into the etymology of a word. That's ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you doing it in a debate, try to overthrow judgment, so people can get confused, then you being wicked, man. And strifes of words we have come with envy. See, like I just read, man. Envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, man. Reprobate mind, man. And destitute of the truth. Right? You destitute of the truth, man. You've been rejected. Your mind is completely gone. You can't discern good and evil because you don't fear the Lord and have wisdom. And destitute of the truth, man. Supposing that gain is godliness. Right? You got favor towards the man with the gold ring and goodly apparel. You tell him come forth and sit in the front row of the church or the congregation. This stuff is comedic, man. See the man. See the wisdom it's full of joy, man. See, these people exaggerate. They exaggerate their ignorance, man. It's funny, man. Because they'll make themselves look like they know something. But the scriptures say they don't know nothing. Knowing nothing, man. But they looking like they know something. You dressing like a clown but can't juggle. Man, get out of here, man. You know what I'm talking about? You dress up looking like a rapper but you can't rap. Man, come on, man. Get out of here, man. But you sounding like you could rap because you what? You using great swelling words of man's wisdom. Right? Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself. Corrupt mind. That's that reprobate mind, man. You know what I'm saying? That reprobate mind. And even as they did not like to retain God and their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, right? Well, I was at debate. Debate, man. Like I just brought out, man. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds. This is what you will do. You will debate in vain with these people, man. Trying to gainsay. But I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist, man. Come on, man. See, the Most High wisdom confound the world, man. The wisdom of this world. Malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God. You be hating on God, man. You be mad at the Most High. Despiteful, proud boasters, inventors of evil things. Disobedient to parents, man. Come on, man. Disobedient to parents without understanding, see? Without understanding, man. Void of wisdom, void of judgment, because you don't fear the Lord. Covenant breakers without natural affection, implacable, placeable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. They know the judgment of God, man. You know there's a hell. You talking about there ain't no hell, man. That's the judgment, you know what I'm saying? After death is the judgment, man. That they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. You know what I'm saying? Full of debate, man. Always want to debate. You know, dotting about questions and strifes of words. You know what I'm saying? Let me get this quick. Alright, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 1. It says, and I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. Alright? Paul didn't come with excellency of speech. Why he do that though? He did that because he understand that the world by wisdom, man's wisdom, uses so-called great swelling words to try to debate and get their point across. So he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to demonstrate, you know, the power of the Most High through words like that. You know what I'm saying? Paul said he was rude in speech. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't come like that. Verse 4, it says, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom. You see? This is how men in their wisdom, okay, come to try to teach. You know what I'm saying? Try to talk eloquently, which ain't nothing wrong with that. That's one of the signs of having wisdom. But when you doing that to try to overthrow the wisdom and counsel of the Most High, it's going to come to nothing, man. It says, and my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. Verse 5, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, see, but in the power of God. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High wants the wisdom of this world, okay, to be confounded by the foolishness of preaching, man. You know what I'm saying? This is how the Most High do things, man. God chose the foolish things of this world to confound the wise, and the weak things of this world to confound the things which are mighty, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go down to verse 12. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, right? But the spirit which is of God. See, the spirit of the world reject the knowledge of God, man. The spirit of the world despises wisdom and instruction. But the spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Spirit teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Comparing spiritual things with spiritual. So that's the wisdom of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because what? But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can we know them. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerning, right? They're spiritually discerning. So he not going to discern spiritual things because he don't fear the Lord, man. He'll just reject it and consider it foolishness. Okay? He not going to receive the things of God, the things of the Spirit of God, man. He ain't going to receive that. All right? So let me get this Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 19. Start at verse 18. This will be a few more precepts here. Close out. It says, Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 18, the fear of the Lord is the first step, see, to be accepted of him. And wisdom obtaineth his love. You know what I'm saying? The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, man. So then what did we just read? Because they didn't like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. Reprobate mind is a rejected mind, a rejected person, man. Right? But what? You got to fear the Lord to make that first step to be accepted of him, man. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple, man. How you fear the Lord? You keep his laws and commandments, man. Okay? Verse 20. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom. Come on, man. And in all wisdom is the performance of the law. Right, see? See how that just goes right all together, hand in hand, man. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom. And in all wisdom is the performance of the law. You fear the Lord, you're gonna have wisdom to perform the laws and commandments of the Most High. Right? And the knowledge of his omnipotency. Alright? So you learn that through the law of the Most High. You learn through the law that he is omnipotent. Okay? Ecclesiasticus 21, verse 11. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof. See? When you perform the law like I just read, you get the understanding of it. And the perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. Come on, man. The perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. See, there you go, man. It start with the fear of the Lord, man. That's the candle, the first candle that's supposed to be lit on your menorah, which represent your spirit, man. You know, the spirit, the most high spirit in you. The fear of the Lord, first candle to be lit. Then wisdom get lit. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? That's it's plain and simple, man. So with that, man, I'm say peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. All praises, glory, honor, and thanksgiving to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Shalom.